So, as we continue on where I left off in my last video about those three games there, those were where it started. This game is why I started collecting. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo. I played this game a lot when I was a kid. And I played it into my teen years as well. I would have to say this is by far the best Zelda game there is out there. I know some of you will disagree, and that's okay. But for me, this was it. This is what got me back into collecting. When I was younger, I had lost all my collection. Don't know where it went. Don't care. But I had talked to some lady, and she wanted to sell me everything she had. I wasn't going to buy it. This was my first pickup I have done with video games. But what made me buy it was this game in particular. Maybe not in this box, but this one. It's the same game, just out of the box. I wasn't going to buy it until I saw that game. Once I saw the game, I had to buy it. Because I had sat down and I had talked to my wife at the time, and I said, I want to start collecting again, but I'm going to help sell to cover what I'm buying. So, this is where it started. Huge lot off this lady for, I can't tell you the price, but it was a very good deal. Let's just put it that way. And a couple years just went by, and I have played this game numerous times. I ended up, just recently, probably about a week or so ago, getting this guy complete in the box. Well, I was going to turn around and sell it, because, I've already got a copy of it. What was the big deal? Well, I said, as much as I play this game, and as much as I like this game, and as beautiful a shape as the one is in the box, looks like it's been out, played, and put back in, maybe 2 or 3 times. But I had to have it, and I couldn't get rid of it. I've always wanted this game in the box, because I remember opening the box when I was a kid. I remember going to the store with my father and buying this game. And the reasoning behind the lot that I bought off of this gentleman who has passed away, that's why I bought it all. He was probably in his, I don't know, 70s or 80s when he passed away. He had 4 or 5 games in the box. And this was the game that was in the box that I wanted. Everything else hit the bricks, pretty much. So, it came just like this. Everything in there, but the manual's not in there because I pulled it out to look at it. Or is it in the box? Nope, I didn't put it back in. Not a big deal. I have the manual in my bedroom. But, I remember looking at all this stuff, pulling it open when I was a kid, and then looking at this thing right here. Let me pause it, hold tight. Alright, we're back. I can remember opening up this pamphlet. I was like, what is this? And I looked at it, and then I said, this is the map of the whole game. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Just a silly map like this when I was a kid. But, nevertheless, one of the major reasons why I like this game so much. Yes, it's just a map, I know. But to me, it's not. Okay, we're back. So, we get into the next thing, and people are going to say, once again, why not Mario? Or why not Yoshi? Or even Mega Man for that reason? Well, first of all, I'm not a big Mega Man fan. Mario, I blogged a lot of Mario with my brother and my big sister. We used to play Super Mario Brothers 3 a lot. We normally played it together. And at the time, you could only play 2 players, so one of us would be left out, and or we would switch off and play, or it would just be 2 of us that played. It's not that I dislike Mega Man. I've just never taken to Mega Man. But I will play it from time to time. So we get back on track of this being Zelda. Well, people say, why do you want it in the box? Well, first of all, the box, in my eyes, is one of the coolest boxes there is out there. It looks cool. Even if you only seen this much of the box, you know exactly what it is. You know that it's going to be a Zelda game. It just looks cool, and the sound in it might be some of the cheesiest sound you'd ever hear, but it is also very cool, and there's just nothing like hearing the Zelda theme and or the Mario theme for that matter when you start the games up. But this game right here got me back into collecting because I had just never wanted to do it because I figured it would be so difficult and hard, and I'm telling you, it is very hard. You can't find these things really much anymore. You can find these, not as much, but this, all original packaging and everything, is a very, very hard to come by. And it just so happens, I'll break your Nintendo loving hearts out there. The lady whose dad I bought this off of after he passed away had called me the night before, and I had talked to her about meeting up with her. She said, it's going to break your heart, and I said, well, what? She burned 50 plus original Nintendo boxes that had games and manuals for all of them. She had got rid of a lot of the games because she couldn't find the boxes. She burned every box that she had with the exception of 2 that I've got. This one being one of them. She burned a lot of the original Nintendo ones, but she had a handful of Super Nintendo ones. And I could have just about shed a tear, but I'm too manly to shed a tear over this stuff. She didn't know what she had done until after she had talked to me and her oldest grandson. So, needless to say, all of these games that you got right here would have been complete in the box, manual, everything. But, much like normal, somebody didn't know what they had and did something that is silly in my opinion. But I'm going to show gameplay on this game as well. But this one will be a little bit more extensive. This one, there's a lot to do in it, and it means a lot more to me. So I'm going to take my time going through it so y'all can see it. I collect from NES, which is these guys. If you young kids are watching and don't know the difference, this is the difference. This is the regular Nintendo, and this is the Super Nintendo. But I collect this regular Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, all the way up to, I go Sega, then I'll go the GameCube, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Xbox. Oh, geez, you name it, I like it. Even Game Boy games. Just so happens, the people I bought this off of had an inbox, my very first inbox game for the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, Zelda. And it was one of them things I was just going to get rid of because I don't collect Game Boy. But I can remember my dad going to buy it and and him playing it and then me playing it. I played the heck out of that game when I was a kid. But this video is getting a little long. Let's cut it off there. Don't let your inability to find these games stop you from collecting. Even if it's the cheapest game out there, and start with it. If you like Tetris, then go out there and buy you Tetris. If you like more rare games like Chrono Trigger and Brain Lord and obscure games like that, try to find them. Very hard to find. Just start somewhere. Thank you.